This hearing concerns a motion to suppress the evidence that was seized from Mr. Henderson when he was searched by the police. Mr. Henderson was playing basketball in the neighborhood park when Ed Dunsmore's dog, Cyrano, sniffed out some contraband in the defendant's gym bag. Mr. Dunsmore called the police, who acted on the tip, searched the bag, and discovered 2 ounces of marijuana. Mr. Henderson was arrested, and here we all are. Is that about it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Dunsmore, what's up with Cyrano? How does he know what marijuana smells like?
Ma'am, Cyrano was trained to detect drugs hidden in shipments offloaded in Boston Harbor. I got him when he cashiered out of the Boston PD, ma'am.
And why were you in the park that day?
I'm a member of the Neighborhood Watch program, and that's where this little scumbag hangs out.
Alleged scumbag, Mr. Dunsmore.
What, ma'am?
Stop calling me ma'am. It makes me feel like the Queen Mother. Judge Gray or Your Honor will do.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the police had no probable cause to search my client's gym bag. There might have been a sandwich in there. I could have gotten his attention, too.
The dog knows the difference between contraband and a sandwich, Your Honor. These are highly trained dogs. This was a good search.
She makes a good point, Mr. Martlett. And neither Mr. Dunsmore nor Cyrano was working for any law enforcement agency at the time, so they weren't subject to constitutional restrictions on search and seizure. Mr. Dunsmore was merely reporting what he believed to be a crime.
May I remind the court that this is a case dispositive motion. Allowing this would be tantamount to dismissal of the charges.
Thanks for the newsflash, counsel. These are murky legal waters. I want counsel to submit your arguments in writing, citing precedents to support your case. Moving on. Donna, your hair.
Do you like it? My stylist thought my hair looked a little lachrymose.
Lachrymose?
It means really sad or inclined.
No, I know what it means. I've just never heard it applied to hair.
Do you like it?
It's nice.
You see, that's his head, and that's his hand. He's sucking his thumb. Do you see it?
Vaguely.
Those are the legs, the feet, and right there, the penis.
You said penis.
Yes, I did.
That's a bad word.
No, not when it's that small.
Isn't he beautiful?
Well, yes, he seems very nice.
Can somebody help me?
Are you retaking the bar?
No, I'm teaching a class at Yale.
You are?
Mommy, Aunt Joan has a picture of her baby. She has a penis.
Let me see.
If that's Aunt Joanne's baby, why is he in Evie's stomach?
Because they're adopting him. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, but why doesn't Evie want him?
Because she thinks we can do a better job taking care of him.
Amy, why on earth are you teaching a class at Yale?
Because they asked me.
There's a handy little 2-letter word you might want to learn.
Mom, it's an honor to be asked. You should be congratulating me.
I'll congratulate you when you learn how to take a nap. Hello?
Let's go.
Yes. I remember him. Well, where's he now? All right, I'm on my way. Off to a flying start. Joe Broussard. We meet again.
What's up, Miss Gray? How you doing?
I'm a little testy since I didn't finish my breakfast. The next time you decide to shoplift something, why don't you wait till after lunch?
Okay. Yeah, but only for you.
It's been a long time. Are you 16?
I'm 15.
I trust you put the last 5 years to productive use.
Still in school. Ain't been in jail yet.
Still in foster care?
No, I'm back home with Dad now.
Has he stopped drinking?
Yeah. You know, has trouble working though. He still gets depressed about my mom. You remember about my mom?
Yes, I remember. That was very hard on you.
I'm doing good now, though.
Then why have they detained you in a department store? Why did you call me? Why not call your dad?
You were always straight with me back in the day. Look, I messed up, I know. You know, but I'll pay for that aftershave.
That's up to the store.
What, are they gonna call the cops?
I'll talk to the police for you. But if I find out you've been stealing other things, the police will be the least of your worries.
Got a call from one of my moles at HPD. The vice president of the Chamber of Commerce got whacked last night in a carjacking.
My God, what happened?
If I knew that, what the hell would I need you for? All I know is somebody capped him. Now, here's the money shot. When the paramedics get there, they think they're treating a female because he's wearing women's clothes.
Wow.
Best part? The guy's a militant homo hater.
That's fun. All right, I'll start with the cops.
What happened is going to be on the radio in 1 hour. Go talk to the grieving widow and ask her about his clothes.
Why would she want to talk to me about that?
Because you are going to sweet talk her into spilling her guts. And then you're going to write it up and you're going to get it to me yesterday. Hey, Diane, get me Zach Benton on the phone. I want to talk to him about his op-ed piece.
You got it.
Let's go, Vincent. We don't have all day.
Ms. Romano suffered a brain injury 5 years ago that left her with the mental capacity of a 12-year-old. As tragic as that accident was, DCF is convinced it rendered her an unfit mother as well.
How so?
The baby, 10 months old, is significantly behind the birth rate growth curve. This clearly constitutes a failure to thrive and justifies the removal of the child from the home.
Is there any father or family?
No husband, no family.
Well, I see Ms. Romano has been evaluated previously as to her mental condition. What brought this to your attention?
We were called when she brought the baby to the hospital due to a high fever.
So it's due to the weight loss that DCF feels Ms. Romano is challenged beyond her abilities?
Yes, being underweight can be very detrimental to an infant's development. And as the child becomes older, her needs will become increasingly more demanding.
Martina, do you know why you're here?
Some people think I can't take care of Elena. But I can.
May I see Elena? Oh, no, I didn't mean... okay. She's beautiful.
Her name's Elena. She's my daughter.
If it pleases the court...
Save it, Counselor. We're going to go to trial.
Then DCF requests an OTC to evaluate the child's health.
Fine, Miss Richardson. I'm issuing an order of temporary custody for Elena Romano, effective immediately. I want the court physician to examine the child and DCF to evaluate the Romano home before we reconvene,
Tuesday, 10 o'clock.
Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Adjourned.
Why are they taking her? No. 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 Elena.
Marcy Watson?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Vincent Gray. I'm wondering if I could ask you some questions about your husband's death.
Are you with the police?
No, I'm not. I'm with the Hartford Examiner.
I'm sorry, I have nothing to say.
Why was your husband wearing women's clothes when he died?
Did you say your name was Vincent?
Yes, ma'am.
Vincent. Please, leave us alone.
I'm sorry about you.
It looks as if I woke you up, Mr. Broussard. Don't you have to work today?
I worked last night. Is that why you come by, Miss Gray, to be sure that I'm working? Because let me tell you, I'm working my ass off to take care
I'm
of...
here because of Joe.
What's he done? Not that I'm not tickled to see you again.
He was caught shoplifting. I haven't seen him in 5 years, but he had the store call me. Have you any idea why?
Yeah. He knows I'd ground him, take away his damn skateboard. What'd you do to him?
Mr. Broussard, the last time I saw you, you were lying in your own vomit on a gurney in County Hospital.
Hey, I quit drinking.
In the 6 months that he's been back with you, Joe has had trouble at school, and now he's been caught stealing. I need to know what's going on here, and I don't need your attitude.
I don't know. He doesn't talk to me much. Talks to a shrink.
He's seeing a therapist?
Some broad. She's supposed to be an authority on kids whose mothers have killed themselves. Like it's some new fad or something.
Can you give me his therapist's name? I'd like to talk with her.
I don't know. Dr. Kumbaya or something.
Dr. Kubiak?
I guess. You guys pay her. I sure wouldn't.
All right, thanks.
Hey, Greg. What the hell is this?
It's a brief on Bill Watson's murder.
I didn't want a brief. I wanted a quote from the widow.
I didn't get that.
Why not?
I went to the woman's house. I stuck my foot in the door. She was repulsed.
That's good. Now get her to say she's repulsed, and that's worth printing.
I'm not going to torture this woman. Besides, I think there's a better angle on this story than the predictable reaction, she's upset, news at 11.
Oh, you got a better angle. Like what?
Like who he was, what he did with his life.
Maybe someone else saw him in a dress?
I don't know. Maybe. I need to do some research. Just give me one day.
Did you hear that, everybody? Vincent wants another day. I want it by this afternoon.
The use of drug-sniffing dogs has usually been confined to airports or high-stakes drug busts. And recently, the use of these dogs has become more widespread. Now, some regard this as a further intrusion into our ever-shrinking privacy, while others regard them as a big weapon in the war against drugs.
And that's why I paid top dollar for this well-proven weapon, Your Honor.
And I appreciate your commitment to cleaning up your neighborhood, Mr. Dunsmore. I only wish the police had used their own dogs to verify your complaint before they opened the gym bag.
Your Honor, our patrol and apprehension of this scumbag just got one more drug dealer off the street, ma'am.
Were you in the military, Mr. Dunsmore?
No, ma'am, I was not privileged to serve my country as a soldier. I have a bum wheel.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Dunsmore. But while Cyrano may have done a good job, the police did not. This case is dismissed based on the fact that this was an illegal search and seizure.
Well, in a war, there are no rules. You know, you just take out your enemy any way you can. Cyrano! Hey!
You better get your dog out of here, or you will find yourself cuffed and jailed.
A man should have the right to protect and defend his own neighborhood. But don't like that! I'm not the bad guy here! Cyrano, come!
It's great. I'm surprised we haven't met. I do a lot of work with DCF.
Your reputation precedes you, Doctor.
You've read my books?
No, but I saw you on the Today Show.
Oh, that was a nice spot. So, what can I do for you?
I'm working with Joe Broussard. I understand that you've been seeing him for a little over a year.
Oh, yes, your office referred him. I specialize in adolescent grief therapy.
Yes. And has Joe made progress in dealing with his mother's suicide?
Yes. Up and down. His mother's death was an abandonment, and in Joe's mind, so was his father's drinking.
Maybe in some way he blames himself for what happened?
Ms. Gray, let me assure you I am very much on top of Joe's issues.
According to Joe's principal, he's been skipping classes, his grades have fallen, and now this shoplifting incident.
Shoplifting is a fairly benign cry for help. He's going to have those incidents.
It's my understanding that Joe was doing well until recently.
Miss Gray, I respect the work you people do. You offer an important service. And though I'm sure it sometimes feels that way, you're not trained to psychoanalyze children. That is better left to the experts.
I didn't mean to encroach on your territory.
It's fine.
Dr. Kubiak, I'm concerned that perhaps Joe's father is drinking again.
There's a confidentiality issue here. But I can say that Joe's acting out would be consistent with a lapse in his father's sobriety.
That'll do it.
You cut all the pertinent details.
The guy was a prominent local politician who strongly opposed gay rights. He was found dead wearing a pink Betsy Johnson stretch frock and Christian Dior lingerie. That's all we need to know.
He was also a medic during the Vietnam War. He was a volunteer fireman. He worked in the literacy campaign.
Pardon me while I yawn.
Don't make him out to be some dope in a dress.
Vincent, I run a newspaper. I print what people want to read.
Cutting this stuff is misleading. Most cross-dressers aren't gay. We can't imply that he was. He was happily married. He was a complicated man. What were you doing during the Vietnam War?
I wasn't painting my nails, I'll tell you that much. All right. And make sure it was a Betsy Johnson.
Oh, I never heard you come in.
Don't talk. Procedural protections for delaying... Got it.
What time is Michael bringing Lauren home?
Soon.
Well, it's awfully late for a school night, isn't it?
Yeah. Mom, I really have to get these cards together for my seminar tonight.
This may come as a surprise to you, Amy, but no one's grading you. You don't get extra credit for wearing yourself out.
Mommy!
Hey.
I had a hot dog and a pretzel and a hot chocolate.
There's one for your journal.
Did Daddy just drop you off?
No, Alicia. She got a new car, so she likes to drive. It's a B and a W.
Well, that's nice of her. What is that on your ears?
Earrings, we got them pierced.
We did what?
Alicia took me. She got hers pierced when she was 6.
Lauren, I have told you again and again.
I know you said 13, but that's too long.
I am your mother. I make the rules. Lauren, we are going to have a serious talk about this tomorrow, but I have to go out, so Grandma's going to put you to bed. Go wash up. Can you believe that? The woman is putting holes in my daughter's ears. Do I really have to call up Michael and say, hey, Michael, when I send Lauren to you, I pretty much want her back in the same condition?
And take the earrings out. The holes will grow back.
Oh, great. Well, then I'm the bad guy. It's a no-win situation. I can't win.
Amy, your students are waiting. Poor things.
Some legislators believe our kids are growing up a lot more quickly than they used to, and their misbehavior has become more adult, too. Therefore, the juvenile court system has gone from an exclusively rehabilitative system to a system that incorporates both rehabilitation and retribution. Are there any questions? Guy in the blue sweater.
What are your views on sibling visitation and placement, looking at, for example, In re Hugo in Massachusetts?
Well, I'd really prefer to stick to Connecticut law. I'm much more familiar with...
Are you saying you're not familiar with Hugo?
No. I've heard of it, but you have no idea how much material I have to read. So let me write that down, and I'll have a better informed answer for you next week. Any other questions? Yeah. We've been having long discussions in every law class on the new study out of Harvard concerning teenage boys and their changed status in society since World War I. As a family court judge, how does that study affect your court? Well, very little, since most of the teenage boys I see haven't read the study. I wonder if you could be a little bit more specific as to which aspect of the study you're referring to.
Never mind.
No. Well, we're out of time, so see you next week. We could go for something simple. Stars, moons, pastels.
Too boring.
Peter wants a Western theme, but I don't like the violent imagery.
Nothing wrong with cowboys. I played with toy guns. Look how I turned out.
Actually, you preferred dolls until you were 6.
They were boy dolls.
Returning your microwave.
I gave you that. There's no need to return it.
Donna's got a better one.
We'll take it. Edie could use it. Where's the Princess Evie living these days?
Oh, we got her a modest apartment.
Peter!
It's a tax write-off.
I've already read your article, Vincent.
Yeah, what'd you think of it?
Honestly,
Okay, I get the picture.
I knew Bill Watson. He was a nice enough man, terrible politician, but I always thought that was in his favor. I don't think he deserved that kind of a send-off.
This is a balanced piece. I did a fair amount of research.
Yes, you did a delightful job of describing the dress he died in.
Let me see that.
Well, the fact is he died in a dress.
That Western theme is sounding better, isn't it?
Poor man.
He also served in Vietnam. Why am I telling you this? It's all in there, and I have to fight to get it in.
Nobody cares about anything but the dress.
That's not my fault.
Vincent, you never asked me what I thought of your becoming a journalist, but now that it's come up...
You're going to tell me.
It's not a noble profession. It was at one time, maybe, but now it's nothing but glorified mudslinging. You're better than that.
You think we should cover up the fact that he died dressed as a woman?
Oh, I love Betsy Johnson.
I'm sure it's someone's job to tell that story. I can't believe it's yours.
Okay. Thank you for the microwave. I hope that Evie enjoys it.
Give it to me. Oh. All I wanted to do was go home and put on my jammies and buy every piece of bad jewelry off the Home Shopping Network.
I tried to tell you.
I got off to a slow start. I'll win him over.
Do you really need a bunch of self-important law students to validate you?
No. Yeah, maybe. So I need the odd pat on the back. How does that distinguish me from every other overachiever?
Hi, Judge Gray.
Hi, Donna. She's starting to look like me.
She's trying.
Some people think they're creepy.
Well, my dad calls them rats with wings.
Well, they may not be very classy, but there's something straightforward about them. As in, hey, you've got bread and an opposable thumb. Tear me off a piece. Joe? I've talked to your dad. I've talked to school, your therapist. Nobody seems to know what's going on with you.
I'm just chilling. You know, doing the school thing, seeing my shrink.
Shoplifting?
I know, that was a one-time deal.
Do you think about your mother a lot?
Yeah. You know, but I try to keep it together for my dad. He still has all our clothes and stuff.
When you lose someone that you've loved and made a life with, the pain lasts for a long time.
One day, Amanda and I were driving around, and I saw my dad alone, just staring down at the road.
Joe, did you say you and Amanda were driving? Do you mean Dr. Kubiak?
Yeah, she drove me home a couple of times after our appointments.
But you said you were driving around.
Did I? Yeah, I meant she was just driving me home.
Why were you and Dr. Kubiak driving around?
You wouldn't understand.
Try me.
Dr. Kubiak and I just have a special friendship.
Elena appears more like a baby of 7 or 8 months. Records indicate she's never had any well baby checks and has never had the proper vaccinations.
Has she had any serious illnesses?
No, but Elena at 2 months was in the 50th percentile in weight for all babies, but now she's dropped to the 5th percentile. That's an alarming deterioration.
Doctor, are there any other findings that corroborated the diagnosis of failure to thrive?
Yes, the baby also suffers from an iron deficiency.
And that is a direct result of the child not being properly fed, is it not?
Absolutely.
That's all, Your Honor.
Dr. Haney, what about the usual things a 10-month-old can do? Sitting up, crawling?
Oh, she's developmentally on schedule. For now.
Mr. Ortiz.
Yes, I'd like to call Martina Romano to the stand.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Ms. Romano, you are Elena's mother,
Yes.
and you take care of her yourself?
Yes.
Do you understand Dr. Haney's concern?
He says Elena's too little.
Do you know why she is?
He says I don't feed her enough, but that's just because she got too fat.
Martina, why do you think that?
People would tell me. The lady at the grocery store, she said, you feed that baby too much, she's fat.
And you believed her?
Yes. Also, when we went to the park, a lady said, that's such a big girl. I didn't want anyone to laugh at Elena.
I am so sorry to be late.
Oh, well, we're all allowed a little controlling behavior now and then.
I realize that your time is valuable, so, I had an opportunity to speak with Joe Broussard this morning, and I am disturbed.
How so?
He seems to think that you two have a special relationship.
Well, that's not surprising. It's called transference. We've been working very closely together, and Joseph is badly in need of a mother figure.
I don't think he sees you as his mother.
I'm sorry, I should have explained it more simply. Joe is experiencing deep emotions for me because he feels I truly know him. And for an adolescent boy with no mother, he may have mistaken my interest in him for romantic feelings. That is what you're implying.
Yes. And it makes me wonder if perhaps he should see a male therapist.
At the risk of offending you, Ms. Gray, I have to remind you that you're not qualified to make a decision like that. It's actually important that I don't disappear at this juncture. Joe would experience that as another loss.
That makes sense. It's just that he's come so far.
I'm going to bend the rules a little bit here. I have to tell you that when I met Joe, he had a similar delusion about you.
I beg your pardon?
I checked my records, and he told me that his social worker, that would be you,
Yes?
had expressed an interest in adopting him. You said he was the kind of son you'd always wanted.
I never said that.
Well, that's my point exactly. He's a disturbed boy, which is why I made no formal inquiry.
So I tried to
You're Lauren's mother. Oh, I would know you anywhere, even if I hadn't seen your pictures.
Hi, Alicia.
Hi. I think it was such a healthy idea for us to meet.
Yeah, well, I think we needed to get clear on some things.
Oh, I agree. Waiter, coffee, please. So, Modern Families, huh? The ex-wife and the girlfriend. It's like a mini-series.
Yes.
Listen, before you say anything, I just want to tell you what a fabulous kid I think Lauren is. But I'm always telling Michael Amy must be an incredible person. Michael gives you full credit for the way she's turned out.
Oh, that's nice.
Ladies,
Thank you. I will have a fruit salad with low-fat yogurt.
Could I get a grilled cheese on rye? Thanks.
Sure, if you're born with that body. Michael's right. You are stunningly beautiful.
Michael said that.
Thank God I've had therapy, huh?
Well, look, Alicia, we don't really know each other. And the thing is, the only thing we have in common is my ex-husband and my daughter, which means that...
Don't worry. I'm not threatened. Really. I mean, Michael said your marriage was like the Hindenburg, which I guess was a pretty big disaster. Oh, I mean, he respects you and all. Don't get me wrong.
I'm upset because you took Lauren to get her ears pierced.
Really?
Of course, really. I told her she couldn't do that until she was 13.
I had no idea.
Well, I assumed that before you allowed my daughter to have her body permanently altered, that you'd think about consulting me.
I guess that I thought it might create a bond between the two of us.
Well, I'm sure it has, but I'm the mother. I need to be consulted.
Michael thought you might take Lauren's attachment to me very badly.
Well, Michael's wrong. I'm glad she has you in her life. The more people who love her, the better.
Really, Amy?
Yeah. Really, Alicia.
Okay. Maybe I did step over the line. But look, the truth is I'm a part of Lauren's life, like it or not. And I can't call you every time I want to put a curler in her hair.
Well, fine. Curlers you don't have to call. Drilling holes you do. And as far as being a part of her life, that's fine. You're a part. You're not the center. You're not a parent.
I'll pay.
That's okay.
Michael said that you always like to have the last word.
You know, Alicia, you might want to watch how many sentences you begin with Michael said. People might think you didn't have thoughts of your own.
It's all your fault. What did you do? What did you say?
Joe, calm down.
How could you do this?
Calm
I
down.
trusted
Now,
you.
Let's go somewhere where we can talk.
She says she can't see me anymore. I mean, what's that about? What, did you threaten her?
Dr. Kubiak and I talked. It seemed obvious to both of us that you have an unrealistic idea of the nature of your relationship.
Well, she said that?
Joe, she's your therapist, that's all. Anything else you've imagined is all wrong.
Oh, yeah, it's in my head. I made it all up.
Maybe you've romanticized her.
Look, I am not crazy. She told me she loved me. She said it was real, that it wasn't just about sex.
What do you mean?
It wasn't just sex. That's English, isn't it?
Joe, do you really think you have that kind of relationship with Dr. Kubiak?
She made me swear on my mother's grave that I would burn these. But I didn't do it. Now tell me I imagined it.
Hey, Amy up?
Up and going.
She's gone. I was supposed to go running with her.
Well, I guess she forgot. She's taken on too much work as usual.
I wonder where she got that from. Hey, Mom. Can I talk to you about yesterday?
What?
What she said about my article?
Vincent, please, I'm in the middle of a troubling case, and I honestly can't take a dressing down.
Okay, I'll be brief. Listen, this is my job. I actually like it. I don't think there's anything necessarily ignoble about it. I don't really need your approval, but I'd appreciate if you wouldn't go out of your way to run me down.
Fine. Is that it?
Yeah.
Things change pretty quickly around here. Forgive me if I can't keep up. Seems like yesterday you were a short story writer.
I still am.
Now you're Jimmy Olsen. Peter and Jillian are still dancing attendance on the child who's carrying their child. Amy's disappeared on everybody, including Lauren, who's buddying up with her father's girlfriend. And the man I thought I knew died in a dress. There used to be lines, and you either crossed them or you didn't. Now it's all over the map. Who the hell knows what a moral choice is? Is there such a thing anymore?
This is a rhetorical question.
No, it's not. You're young, you're invested in the future. Tell me, is the civilization intact, or is it just a free-for-all?
I think that most moral choices are simple and personal. You make them every day and they add up. Little things, like admitting when you're wrong.
That's great. I'm sorry.
That's all right, Bruce. Just came in early to work on this Yale thing.
Right. How's that going?
It's a hellish nightmare with a hair stuck to it.
Did you know the day Winston Churchill became Prime Minister of England, his aides woke him up that night to tell him that the Nazis invaded France?
No, I didn't.
I try to remember that when I think I'm having a bad day.
Yeah, perspective. Just what I need. And thanks for reminding me of yet another thing I didn't know.
See you in court.
Excuse me, you can't go in there.
It must be very hard to feel that way, and I understand. Miss Gray, what do you think you're doing?
The police would very much like to talk to you, Dr. Kubiak.
About what?
They have a warrant for your arrest.
Katie, wait outside.
All right.
How could you do this? He's just a boy.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I hope that's your lawyer you're calling.
It is. And I hope you're prepared for a protracted lawsuit. Do you have any idea who I am? I am an undisputed expert in the field of child psychology.
And a statutory rapist.
How dare you?
You violated every code of ethics I can think of.
You honestly believe an emotionally disturbed teenager? If so, you're the one who needs help.
I read your letters. I turned them over to the authorities.
This is a colossal misunderstanding.
I couldn't agree more.
While it's true that Ms. Romano's baby is underweight, there are two categories of failure to thrive. One is environmental, where the atmosphere is so stressful that the child can't eat. The other is failure to provide adequate nutrition. It is this second category that brings Ms. Romano into the court. However, Ms. Romano did not underfeed her baby out of neglect. She did so out of concern, a desire to be a good parent. Because of her special circumstances, she is limited in her understanding of how to do that. It's my opinion that with proper guidance, this situation can be remedied. I hereby give custody of Elena back to her mother.
Thank you, Judge Gray. Thank you so much. You're a very good judge.
Now, how's that for validation?
It's not bad. Donna?
Judge Gray?
Straighten your hair. Don't dress like me.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you. There is a line. There's a line.
Joe?
Don't come back here. You got that?
You need to talk to someone. You need help.
Yeah, well, I see how you help.
I understand how you've suffered, but you have to understand I am not the person who betrayed you. Dr. Kubiak...
Don't you talk about her.
She betrayed your trust.
I said don't.
Joe, that's not what love is.
Shut up.
Joe.
Shut up.
What are you doing here?
Babysitting. Amy's teaching, remember?
Oh, yes. Can I fix you something to eat?
No, thanks. I gotta get home.
There's a tuna casserole in the fridge. It will only take a minute.
I already ate, thanks.
Well, good night, then.
Good night.
Vincent?
Okay, moving on to...
Excuse me. I asked last week about In re Hugo. You said you'd do some research so we could discuss it.
I'm sorry. I couldn't find the time.
With all due respect, I was promised an overall view of family law, not just what you happen to be familiar with.
And you are?
Eric Mullins.
Mr. Mullins, I didn't get around to your precious In re Hugo because I've presided over 150 cases this week. And when I do get to it, that kind of work will be done by some lowly clerk who most likely will be some contumacious parvenu like yourself.
What does that mean?
Do some research on it and get back to us next week. Any other questions? If the American judicial system were a restaurant, then family court would be a table by the kitchen. Hardly anybody wants to sit there, but let me assure you that nowhere are the stakes higher. For example, you wear the robe for this one, Mr. Mullins. An adopted 30-year-old woman has located her birth mother and wants to talk to her, citing her right to know her heritage. The mother has no desire to reunite and argues that the state promised her anonymity for life. What do you do?
I do a search through case law to find rulings in similar cases.
Well, you don't have time for that. You've got 30 cases that day, and the presiding judge considers your docket light already.
Then I make a lowly clerk do it.
And what are you doing? Showing slides from your last vacation? You're hungry. You miss lunch because of a judicial pretrial. The parties are getting restless. People are impatient. The lawyers are screaming. The babies are crying. What do you do, Mr. Mullins?
You're at the judge. What?
I carry it over till next week. It's getting a little hectic in there for me. I mean, you laugh, but that is an accurate picture, and the case is real. People think that the law will fit neatly into any scenario brought into court, but it seldom does. A fair decision requires interpretation, the influence of similar precedents, and gut instinct. Then imagine that you hear 60 cases a day, one every 8 minutes, and you can imagine what a juvenile and family law judge is up against.
8 minutes? We only had 3 cases on our last exam, and we had 2 hours.
Then enjoy your time here. And when you leave, come out with guns blazing. It's going to be about 20 years before you have time for a decent nap. The law is a living thing. It evolves every day, every minute. It changes so quickly that most of the rulings you've memorized will be obsolete before you pass the bar. But here's the one thing that doesn't change. Family. And while our definition of what family is changes all the time, the family remains the cornerstone of civilization. It always has been. So, who among you is going to follow me into family law? Not many. Only the best.
Hey, this is Vincent. Leave me a message.
Vincent, I was wrong.
Love you too, Mom.